Welcome everyone to ABG Sundal Collier Investor Day. Today we have 36 companies presenting from 8 o'clock in the morning to 5 in the afternoon. You can follow this all live on Introduce and also watch the clips afterwards. My name is Victor Kruger. I'm an equity analyst at ABG and I am part of the real estate team. I will moderate two presentations today. The first one being Catena Fastigheter. And because of that, I will now welcome them as the first speakers with the CEO, Jörgen Eriksson, and the IR, David Silversjö. Welcome.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Welcome to Catena in this presentation. My name is Jörgen Eriksson, the CEO, a new role for me since the 1st of November 2020. And I have been at Catena for about 5 years. And this is my colleague.
Yeah, my name is David Silversjö. I've been in the financial industry for 10 years and 10 years in the real estate industry. I've been with Catena for the past 3 years, working with investor relations and funding issues mostly.
Next slide, please. And here are the contents for today. So very briefly about Catena, the performance and operationals and so on. So we can go to next slide, please. Catena, we want to link the Scandinavia cargo flows. We have the famous logistic triangle in Sweden from Stockholm to Gothenburg and Malmö, and from Malmö up to Stockholm. And then we also are operating in Denmark, and since we last week did some acquisitions of a portfolio in Denmark, so we can see it's an exciting area for the future. We have very long and reliable relationship with our customers, and we have an eternity perspective of our properties. We also deliver very strong and durable cash flows. Next slide, please. Here are some figures from the Q4 report. We have about almost 2 million square meters lettable area. We have a value of our properties around 19 billion SEK, a very large letting ratio of 96.2%. Can also mention that we are a very small and effective organization with only 46 employees. We work very tight with our customers, and we are very fast-footed when we are to make decisions about new deals and so on. We are listed at the large cap at Nasdaq, and the market cap is around 15 billion SEK. Next slide, please. And next slide again. Here is a history of our profitable growth. We have a compounded annual growth of the profit from the property management. It's an average of 14%. The earnings per share has increased by 41%. And now the dividends this year is proposed from the board to be 7.50 SEK per share, and that means that the annual growth have been 20% the latest 5 years. Next slide, please. There are the operational review from 2020, and the rental income is almost 1.3 billion SEK. It's a 7% growth. The NOI is around 1 billion. It's an 11% increase. And the very important figure of the profit from the property management is also the same, almost the same as the cash flow we can generate, and it has increased by 15% year to year. Next slide, please. As I mentioned before, we deliver a very strong and durable cash flow, and our target is to have more than 50% off from the The income will be the result of the profit management. We also have the goal to deliver 50% from the profit of the property management as a dividend, less the standard tax. Next slide, please. Here is some of our customers. We are very proud of our customer portfolio. As you can see here, it's a name like a DHL, PostNord, very famous and strong customers in the transport section. We also have a lot of customers from the groceries in Sweden, like Inga, Coop, and Axfood. And of course, we have lots of customers related to the e-commerce. Next slide, please. Here are some figures about the letting operations, and we have a positive net rental, as you can see, of 2020. The WALE of the contracts is around 5 years. And we have a lot of contracts that are expiring from 2026 and after that. Next slide, please. And next slide again. I give the word to David.
Thank you again. And once again, morning everybody. Just some short comments about the valuation of our company. We have reported an EPRA NRV per share growth compounded annually of 16% over the last 5 years. So obviously there's been a very good trend in this segment, as well as we have been fortunate enough to be able to use that trend for our benefit. Return on equity on average has been between 17 and 18% over the last 5 years. Yeah, next page, please. And I hope that we can't see the pages in front of us, so I hope you have the page number 14 in front of you guys. Just also some short comments about our property and the yield. In 2020, we reported an EPRA net initial yield of 5.5%. Obviously, we have seen some decompression over the last years, and still going on, I would say. The demand for logistics properties is very high from the investor collective, as well as from the occupier side. And as Jürgen mentioned, our property value is around 19 billion at the moment. Next page, please. Just some words about our debt management and the capital structure. Our loan to value was reported at just over 52% in our Q4 report. And over the years, it has developed from around 70% in 2015 to 52% now in 2020. And the cost of debt has also decreased over the years. Capital structure, we reported an equity ratio of 37%, just over 37%. We have a financial policy to maintain at least a level of about 30% to remain safe. Next page, please. On our funding structure, we reported an average debt maturity of 2.2 years with an interest maturity of 3.1 years. And excluding our commercial papers, we reported a hedge ratio of 66%. As you can see from the slide on the left side, We have almost 3.5 billion to refinance over 2021, which is a rather high amount, obviously, but we have already have 2 billion been approved for refinance, and we feel very comfortable going forward. Basically, all of our ongoing discussions with banks is going very well, and we feel there's lots of capital to borrow right now. And next page, please. And we can have next page once again. Just a few words also about our sustainability work. The sustainability is one of our 4 prioritized pillars in the company. So that's one way for us to demonstrate the importance of sustainability going forward, obviously. During 2020, we did a lot of efforts to align with some reporting standards. The APRA sustainability standard was one of them. We have been doing a few workshops to comply with the TCFD on climate risks, and hopefully we can publish the results from that during spring in 2021. We have also been able to have our goals for GHG emissions to be approved by the Science Based Target Initiative to align with the Paris Agreement. So we're very proud of that, obviously, and that's also obviously important to be part of modern science going forward. Yeah, next page, please. And I hand over to you, Jürgen.
Yeah, thank you, David. And we take the next page again. Here are some of our development projects in progress, and as you can see, we have some of them are completed around the Q4, and some of them are ongoing and will be completing during 2021. We have also press released about Morgongåva. We will do a new project beside Aktier. It's one very strong e-commercer in Sweden. We also have a new project up north in Luleå, where we will complete it in the Q4 2021. So here is a remaining investments of around 400 million, and it will add 29,000 square meters. Next slide, please. And next slide again. As I mentioned before, we have a lot of customers related to the e-commerce, and as all know, the e-commerce has a very strong growth in Sweden. And so we can see the underlying demand for our type of properties is very strong for the moment. And we also can witness that of our letting ratio that is over 96%. And we can see that here will come more projects in the future, since many of our customers, they really need more spaces due to the strong growth in e-commerce. It's a really strong signal that we can see. Next page. And as I started to mention, that we made an acquisition in Denmark the other week. It is a portfolio of 5 properties in Denmark, and the total investment is around 800 million SEK, and the yield is around 5.5%, with the large tenants of NTG. It's a transport group based in Denmark. And also Daugard AS, that's in the third-party logistic segment. We can see that Denmark will be very interesting for us in the future, since we can see something will happen with the logistics system when the Fehmarn Belt connection is on place. in 2029, I think. There has also been more intensive discussions about the new connection between Helsingør and Helsingborg. So we are sure and very convinced that Denmark will be a nice area for more logistic projects in the future. Next page, please. We have focused the latest year on own development projects, since, as I showed on the other page, and a coming project is south of Stockholm, and the position is called Stockholm South. It's an area for us. We own about 450,000 square meters, and we think that we can build around 50% of the area, so around 200,000 square meters. And the planning is on the table right now, and we hope we can start build something and sign some contracts in the late 2021. And this will also be, we hope to do a copycat of our projects that we have had in the south of Sweden the latest year. For example, Sunnanå and Tostarp. Next slide, please. Here are some of the areas that we can have a future development project. And here is, of course, Stockholm South. We have an interesting area close to the Landvetter Airport in Gothenburg. We have a large land bank in Örebro, which is a very hot logistic area. We have also more land to develop in the south of Sweden, close to Ängelholm, Helsingborg, and in Malmö. And the total land bank is around 5 million square meters. Next slide, please. Yeah, that was all for us, and we look forward to have some questions.
Great, thank you. I was going to ask about Denmark, but you kind of answered that one just in the end here. Is there anything you would like to add there to your expansion? What's your plan is with Denmark, and if there is anything additional to say in terms of expanding to that region?
No, I think I said the most, but we see that it's an interesting, of course, the area is very good from the logistic perspective, but also the deal where we can see that maybe the yields are not that low as they are in Sweden for the moment. We think they will decrease and be compressed as they have been here in Sweden. And we also like the finance system in Denmark, Realkredit, which maybe David can tell us a bit more about.
Yeah, no, it's. I mean, it's probably the oldest bond market. It's very transparent, and so it's and there's ample access to that capital market for the sake of our beneficial, and yeah, so obviously that adds to the calculation basically. I also would like to add, which Jörgen didn't mention, you have to look at the greater Copenhagen area as Germany, Belgium, Denmark, and the south of Sweden as one basically. And there is a lot of things that will happen for the next 10 years. And for one thing, we have there's talks between Sweden and Denmark to have another connection between Helsingborg and Helsingør, which also will add to this logistics flow in the future. So that's the whole idea, to be present in this location.
That's great. And you mentioned the yields in Denmark versus Sweden. If we look at Sweden, what is your opinion about the yields here right now, and what's your outlook for say 2021?
I think that on the prime logistics, I think that they will can decrease a bit more. Actually, if you compare to Europe, in Germany and in the UK, for example, we have seen yields that are very low. So I mean, with that trend, I think we can see even lower yields at some objects in Sweden as well.
That's clear. Just recently, GLL had their bi-yearly report, and they talked about the strong interest in the logistics market in the Nordics, and in Sweden they talked about international investors coming, or a large interest from international logistics developers. Is that anything you felt in terms of increased competition or even indications of acquisition?
Yeah, I mean, and it's, as we are in a real sweet spot, the logistics sector of properties, we can feel the competition for sure. And when there is a prime logistic portfolio for sale, there is a very strong competition. Maybe we are not there right now to buy those portfolios. We rather focus on our own projects and on our own land banks. It's much easier to do the deals. But of course, there is a lot of actors right now to acquire portfolios and also to develop new logistic properties.
And do you yourself also look anything towards acquisition, or is it just, as you say, expanding on your land bank? Just mentioning that Stenhus was acquiring Max Fastigheter or placing a bid last week. It's a market with many actors, and it seems likely that it will consolidate a bit.
Yeah, for sure. But there can also be some delayments in all the processes with the new zoning plans and so on. So if we cannot manage to do some development on our land banks, we have to complete with some acquisitions. For sure, we need to show the market the growth all the time.
How has the Corona situation impacted you here now during the winter, really? So like the latest update on that, would you like to highlight us a bit?
I mean, business related, we are very lucky. Our customers has managed to show even better results overall this year, since they are related so much to the e-commerce and the transport section that are handling all the packages from the e-commerce. But of course, we have some customers that are suffering, but that's just on the margin for us. But on the other hand, it's a challenge for us as an organization to handle all the daily work with some of our employees working at home, and some of our customers who do not want us to have us in the properties for good reason. Yeah,
no, it's a challenging situation. But in regards to tenants, is there anything interesting there? I mean, right now, e-commerce is the largest one. You also mentioned Inga and the bigger food retailers.
Yeah.
Would you like to indicate like any other type of segment that could be interesting, or that is looking interesting, just in broad terms?
I mean, in broad terms, I think we talked about Inga and the groceries. We see that there is a demand of chilled areas, cooling and freezing properties. And in the Europe, we are talking a lot about the new ice age. So the temperated logistic segment is growing a lot, and in Sweden we can see that some of the properties are rather old, so we need new modern temperated logistic spaces in the future.
Cool. Cool.
Just adding to that, as Jörgen mentioned in one of the slides earlier, when we talked about the e-commerce trend, having a look at the grocery segment specifically, the penetration, for those who doesn't know, is only 2% in that sector, which is fairly low in an international comparison. So there's a rapid growth in that specific segment. The big players, ICA, Coop, as you mentioned, and Axfood as well.
Yeah.
They are all looking into investing heavily in automation and all of the modern facilities you need to be able to offer the modern way of handling groceries in the future, basically.
Great. Thank you for answering my question and presenting with us today. Time is up, and we'll have to move on to the next presentation. Thank you both.
Okay. Thank you very much.
Thank you, guys.
Bye.
Bye.